Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Ross. We're here for another Learning with Line 6. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's do the awkward bit and make sure all the levels are cool. So hopefully you can hear my voice. Here is the guitar sound, and let me know that the levels are okay. Hopefully that's coming through all right. And now the awkward bit where I fill for a bit, where someone lets me know that everything can be heard okay. And we'll just wait for a bit of that. Signal chain for today. John Hale's here. All good. Sounds great. Chandler, lovely. Etchick Stomp. Marvelous. Everyone's in. Amazing. So we're going to, a little bit of a different thing for me today. I've pulled out a kind of vintage. There's a Pacifica 812V. Marvelous thing. Pickups. I've got a Duncan JB in the bridge. SSL 5 in the middle, I believe. And I just chucked a 59 Junior, I think they call it, in the neck. That's the pickups. We've got a coil split on the bridge. It's a marvelous thing. So tonight, Tony in the house. Sounds good. Evening time. Hope you're well, mate. So we're going to look tonight at building, I guess, the ultimate amp rig. So I guess the theory behind this is you can look at this a few different ways. In my mind, I'm building kind of a 1 amp thing, but I'm having the ultimate 3 channels and being able to combine things. And there's a ton of different ways you can do this. The way I've done it is just one of them, but we'll cover some switching options and the way you can do it in a little while. So the idea is I want one preset. I don't want to kind of switch between presets to go between, say, a Fender type sound and then to a Marshall sound and then to a higher gain thing. I want to do it all within one preset. I'm going to use snapshots. And I'm going to add some extra kind of boosts or some just instant access effects. I'm already dropping a plectrum. It's a great start. So that's the kind of concept. So if, I guess, in the tube amp world, you could go to an amp designer and have him do a 3-channel amp, for example, and it's like the 3 glorious channels, the ultimate 3 channels. To my knowledge, no one's able to do that, because of different power stages, tone stacks, all the kind of good stuff that you just can't get around with real tube amps. In our world, we can kind of do what we want, which is really handy. So I'll take you through the signal path, and I'll take you through my thinking a little bit. So let's go to HX Edit. So there we go. That's what we're looking at. So the signal chain, I'm coming in, I'm hitting 3 different drive pedals. You'll see this split. I'll go through that in a minute. I've got air apparent there. I've got the US Deluxe Norm. I've got the Brit Plexi Bright, and down here, Cali 4 Lead. So these are basically going to act like my 3 amp channels. So I've got clean, crunch, and then a higher gain lead thing. Chorus and delay are in there. I've got the Trinity Chorus and the Vintage Digital because they're both very lovely. I've got the 63 spring reverb going just because, yeah, reverb talent, as I call it. And then the cab. So I'm using a dual cab. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it for fun. I've got the 160 ribbon on my favorite cab, the Interstate 212, with 2 inches from the grill. Everything else is pretty much stock, except I've added some early reflections. So that's the signal chain. And you'll see I've got this parallel path here. So what's happening, just in case you didn't know or you're new to Helix, this line is your signal path. So every time you go into a split path here, the signal goes. And you've got a few different options with this path. So for tonight, I'm using the AB. So if that was a split Y, I mean, have a mess around. The signal can either go through both or whatever, but this is a parallel path. So I'm using the AB so I can actually AB between these two. And you'll see when I go through the snapshots that this bit will change. So at the moment, I'm going to A, which is the Deluxe Norm, and then B. If I go there, you'll see, hang on, here we go. So that's snapshot 1, snapshot 2. You'll see it shifts to the Brit Plexi Bright. So I'm switching between 2 amps there. Snapshot 3 you'll see I've gone center. So basically, I'm actually going through both amps, and then snapshot 4, I'm turning all of that off. I'm just going through the big lead. And that's just an even split there. So that's kind of what's happening with the switching. So let's run through some sounds. I'll keep an eye on the comments here. If I put the same 2 amps in parallel with the exact same settings, does it sound any different than with just 1 amp? It shouldn't do, JM. No. So I mean, for that instance, yeah, you could have 2 of the same amp with the same settings, but actually move the routing so you can have maybe reverb on one side and delay on the other. But the beautiful thing is with Helix, you can do that anyway. So you don't necessarily need to do 2 amps the same unless you really, really want to. But the ability to have the same amp with different settings, that's where things can get cool. And you'll actually see, so you've got the Deluxe Norm on this and the Britplexi Bright. They're 2 very different sounds, but combine the 2, the multi-amp rig thing that so many guitar players do, it creates this wonderful kind of frequency spectrum that you just don't get out of 1 amp. You can do a similar thing with different cabinets as well. But I've just gone with the 1 cab block on this, and just makes life a little bit easier. And I've chosen the cab block separately rather than having the amp and cab block for each amp, just to save on DSP. So again, the theory behind this is I've kind of created the ultimate 3-channel amp, but I'm just using one cabinet. So there we go. Project Tube says zoom. I'm going to guess that means zoom into the thing. I am at, if you can't see the display, I apologize. That's as deep as I can get, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, but there we go. Right, so let's go into choosing the amps. So if you were to build a 3-channel amp, what would those 3 channels be? So again, in this instance, I've gone for that kind of typical Fender American clean sound. I've gone for the British kind of Marshally crunch. I'm going to combine the 2, and I'm going to add a drive pedal in front of the Deluxe Norm just to match up gain levels. You don't have to do that, but that's what I've done. And then for the big lead sound, I've gone with a Mark IV style tone, just for something different. And you can add pedals and you can stack pedals, but you don't get the same effect. You don't get the same compression. Great sounds, but this is the way I've done it. So choosing the amps is going to be the biggest challenge here. It's like, what do you want your 3 kind of main core tones to sound like? Do you want all kind of class A stuff with different gain levels? Sure, whatever you like, basically. So I can't help you with choosing the amps. It's just, what are you inspired by? What would your ultimate 3-channel amp be? And you kind of start there. Match your levels as you go through the switching, and you're golden. So I'm saying I've gone for the single cabinet in there. And again, just in case you missed it, it's the 212-inch state with a 160 ribbon, 2 inches from the grill, 33% the reflections. And whenever I do a dual cab block, maybe it's just laziness, but the default is the 112 lead 80. And I've not touched this, and I never do. It just seems to work with absolutely everything that I do with this first cab, regardless of what cab it is or what mic. That just works. So I always just leave that. So I've got, basically, I'm considering each of these amps as channels, and then just going through a single cab block. So there we go. Right. Choosing the mics is also important. And I'll run through the sounds and the core kind of tones that I've got, and then I'll change the mic on this 212, and you'll hear what a significant difference that makes. So here we go. So here is the clean sound. Turn that up in the room because I can. So just really nice. And Snapshot 2, we're going to switch to, so that is now switching to the Britplexi Bright. There's my kind of crunchy. And because of the way the amp circuit works, if I go to the neck pickup and roll the volume down, it's another clean sound. Kartik says the guitars sound like it's coming from the vocal room mic and not direct, in which case give me 2 seconds. Let me check. Right, that's all working. Okay, there's a weird phasing thing that's happened. Okay, so let me try this. I'm going to mute my mic, and this is where it's going to get a little bit awkward because I might not remember to unmute it. So here's with the mic on, and here's with it off. Oh, that sucked. Sorry. Hopefully the second one will have sorted the phasing thing out. Let me know. So sounds fine to me. Right, cool. So there you kind of 2 core sounds. So clean, mic off. Good. Just got to remember to switch it. Crunch. So for Snapshot 3, what I've done is I've combined the 2, but let me go back in. So I've got the Air Apparent just working as a distortion box, and that's going exclusively into the Deluxe Norm. So that's just kind of bringing the gain up. If I turn that off, it's going to be fine, but then you've got a clean amp and a dirty amp, and some people dig that. It's not for me. It's kind of cool, but if I add this back in, then you get this. See, didn't unmute. Ha! This is going to be fun. So both of these, David Walker, greeting from Nottingham, just down the road. Marvelous. So 3 core sounds, but I need something like big and thick, something completely different. So Snapshot 4, I'm going to bypass all of that front end stuff and just go into the Cali 4. So that's my kind of big, thick lead sound. Within this, I've got 2 front end boosts because I can, because I'm greedy. So on the clean sound, I've got the Minotaur and actually the Legacy Screamer. So if you aren't new to Helix and you've been messing around with this a little while, don't discount the Legacy effects. Some really cool stuff in there. And I just pulled up the Legacy Screamer for fun, really. It sounds great. That is phasing out. Ooh, dear. It sounded the same to me. The mic muted, so I'm suspecting it's an issue. My end. Okay, cool. But Charles says it's phasing out. Weird. Something going wrong. If you check the top of the comments, you'll see a link to my custom tone and the presets in there. Download it and have a mess around, and it should be okay. So with the boosts, I've got the Minotaur, which is just a nice clean thing. So yeah, sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on the comments here. We've got some people are having weird stuff, other people are not. I have no idea what's happening. Let me just check something else. That's okay. That's okay. Odd. Odd. I don't know what to tell you, everybody. Some weirdness going on. Some people are getting it, some people are not. Go and check out the link. Download the preset. This is only going to work on LT, full Helix floor, or the rack, because there's a lot of things going on. A few seconds after you mute the mic, the volume slowly drops and gets a bit phasey. I kind of know what that is, but that shouldn't be happening with this. Batteries are fine. I'm just going to double check some settings again real quick. Camera is fine. That's all fine. Echo cancelling. Let me turn that off. Turn the echo, automatically adjust. Turn that off. Okay. The sound is still here, but whatever. Sounds good still. Well, cheers, Rob. I'm not hearing stereo width. Maybe you're getting stereo into mono. Yeah, 2 secs. Yeah. Everything seems okay this end. Very odd. I can only apologize. Yeah, okay. So, not terrible. Okay, right. It's happening right now. Weirdness. Mike? Maybe my mic's just deciding to... Dave Hook says... Okay, we'll carry on. There's some weirdness happening. I can only apologize. Something's going wrong somewhere. But let us crack on. So, where was I? Yeah, so boosts. I've got some boosts. I've got a chorus because 80s. There you go. So, what I've done, would the Queen enjoy this tone? I think she would. I think she would as well. I'll ask my girlfriend. Keep rocking. I'm going to try, Charles. As much as I can. There we go. So, so what I've done, I don't have another camera setup, unfortunately, because that's being a pain. So for anyone that doesn't know, you can assign parameters to snapshots. So like I said, I've done, because 80s. Yes, John. With snapshots, you can control a ton of different parameters at the same time. For this, I'm controlling the A-B split. So you will see there, like I said earlier, in case you missed it, snapshot 1, I'm routing the A-B to this signal path. And then for the other one, for snapshot 2, I'm going to, that's now bypassed basically. And I'm just going to this one, and then rejoining, and then that's going to path 2 and going through all this stuff. And then for snapshot 4, for the big lead tone, all of this is bypassed, and I'm just going straight into that amp, all into the cab. I hope that makes sense. There is another way. If it sounds good, it is good. Not sure what other people have problems. Yeah, cool. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. So I've done it with snapshots. You can absolutely do it another way. So you put your 3 amps in there, and you assign each of those to a foot switch. The routing thing as well, by the way, I could totally put these in series and just switch between them. So literally, rather than, let me do this to show you. Oh dear. Turn that off. Right. So I can do it like this. So I can go, right, okay, snapshot 1 is just the clean amp. Snapshot 2 is just the dirty amp, and do it like that. So there we go. It sounds like that. But with this, I don't get the ability on snapshot 3 to combine both amps and add that thing. So I just thought that was cool, just as an extra sound. So if anything, it's almost like a 4-channel amp, if you like. So there's different ways you can do it. I've done it with snapshots. You can totally assign each amp to a foot switch and switch manually, whether you're in pedalable mode or snapshots or presets or whatever. There's different ways you can do it. Personally, I prefer the snapshots because I use snapshots all the time. and it's a really cool thing. And you can adjust extra levels. You know, if you go with the 8 snapshots, then you can just pretty much do whatever you want. And that's kind of what makes sense to me for the switching options. Now, I mentioned earlier about the cabs and mics. Like I said, I just have the one cab block in there, but it's a dual cab. The mics are kind of important. So the ribbon, a couple of inches from the grill, seems to work well. But just to give you, if you haven't really messed around with the mics, they make such a huge difference. So I won't touch anything else. I'll use the Mark IV, the Cali 4 lead thing, and have some coffee. And you'll hear what an enormous difference the mics make. So we've got the 160 ribbon, 2 inches from the grill, 33%. The reflection sounds like that. Now, if I swap that to, for example, the 57, you're going to hear considerably less low end, and a lot more bite. It sounds like that. Change that for the 421. A lot crispy, a lot more scooped. If I go with a 4038 ribbon, that's going to be super dark. It's that sound. That kind of thing. And then maybe go for the 7 dynamic. Kind of boxy. So choosing the mics can make a big difference. Now, what you can also do with snapshots is actually change the mic. So if I do that, I assume the snapshot could say reduce some reverb too. Yes, John, absolutely. You can, from memory, it's like 64 different parameters you can change at the same time per snapshot. So yeah, you could absolutely say on that snapshot 3, for example, if I tweak this real quick, if I get rid of that and go into the deluxe norm, I'm going to change the drive. And I'm going to bring the bass down because I'm going to need to do that. I'm going to add more mids because I can. Less presence, more treble. And that should then sound pretty good. So there's my clean sound. And then with the other settings, woohoo! That's very loud. Let's turn the channel volume down. So I want more presence on that. But what I now want to do, so for my clean sound, I want the 421. And I'm going to go to that dual amp thing, and I'm going to put an 87 on. This is a quick look into snapshots, by the way. And then for my crunch sound, I want the 57, and for my lead sound, I want the ribbon. There we go. So now you'll see, again, 3 snapshots. So we're not just changing all of the amp parameters for the US Deluxe Norm, we're now changing mics as well. So yeah, that 57 works so much better for that crunchy sound. And then the 87 for the dual amp. And then the ribbon for the lead. Hopefully that makes sense. What we'll do, snapshots seem to still be a little bit of a weird area for a lot of people. So we will do another, there is a Learning with Line 6 from last year, I believe, that's all about snapshots, so you can go and check that out. But we'll also do, we'll go through it again probably in the next few weeks and have a look at that. But yeah, you can do all of the snapshot stuff. Line 6 at NAMM this year. Yes, we are, Mike. Go over and say hi. Let's see tutorial how to configure presets to reach stereo audio out into stereo power amp and real cabinet. No speaker sims, but also run stereo out into a mixer for Bradley. I think we can do that. I will put it on the list and hopefully get to that in the next few weeks for you. I mentioned it to the other guys as well. So that, to me, combining snapshots and then multiple amps into a single cabinet and just changing the mics, that is kind of like the ultimate amp rig for me. And I don't need to go through presets. I can add a ton more stuff in there using the foot switches. Like I say, I've got my kind of instant access. I've got 2 boosts, a chorus and a delay. So for any one of these sounds, I can just add a bit of chorus and delay, or any one of the boosts, because fun, you know, gain pedals, all the fun. I've not put a volume pedal or a wah pedal or anything in there. The preset, like I say, is at the top of the comments list. So go and check it out, download it, swap the amps out. Bear in mind that you may run out of DSP for some of these. So, you know, maybe be a little bit kind of, a little bit tweaking around or searching just to find out what works for you. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of basically it. Just have a mess around, decide what kind of 3 sounds you want, or in this case 4 sounds, and again, certain amps will work better in conjunction with another amp than others. If they're too far apart tonally, it might not work, or it might work better. If they're too similar, you're not going to hear the differences or the benefit. So just a little bit of messing around, but just imagine if you could build the ultimate amp with real tubes and real transformers and all of that, what would you want those 3 channels to sound like? And just kind of, that's the concept of this particular concept or idea. Using snapshots lets you choose different mics for each amp or each tone, basically, so you get the best of everything as well. So lots of fun things that you can do, and very easy to build. But I'll put the preset up there. Go and download it, use that as a template. That's about it. Keep an eye on the comments. Rob says cheers. Beautiful. I think we're good. That's about it, folks. It's a pretty simple concept, but you may not have known that you can do it. So thanks again for tuning in. We've got another one of these, same time, same place next week. We're going to do these. We're going to keep doing them. So keep tuning in. Loads of cool subjects. If you do have anything specifically you want to see, chuck it in the comments. We do keep an eye on them, and we'll absolutely get to them. So yeah, like I said, we'll revisit snapshots. We'll do the stereo thing, and just have fun. Pixel art, skewering how big a difference might make to switch them on different snapshots made a huge difference. How is your HX done? Absolutely. Yeah, just touching back on that real quick. Yeah, the mics on the cab make such an enormous difference. Start, and I've said this before in a previous one, just keeping it simple. When you're building a preset from scratch, get an amp that is roughly in the territory, get a cab that's roughly in the territory, and just change the mic, and you'll discover how enormous a difference that mic makes. And the distance as well, because the proximity effect. So if you got a mic that on the face of it sounds too dark, take the mic away from the grill and it will shave off some of that low end, and give you just a little bit more clarity. So we can look at mics again another time, but for now, thank you once again for tuning in. Hope everyone stays safe and well. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Cheers.